Hello, and thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozuwakun. Today on the program, former Kano State Governor Shekarau finally returns to APC. Buhari supporters storm APC headquarters, demand direct primaries, and later on the show, Trade Union Congress begs governors over minimum wage. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Mobolade Omonijo, and Olayinka Oyegbile. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us once again. There's no end in sight yet for the political alignment and realignment heralding the 2019 elections in Nigeria. In the political schemings, a politician's abandoned ship is another's preferred home. This scenario is aptly being enacted in the political hotbed of Kano. Predictably, former Governor Ibrahim Shekarau has gone in the opposite direction of his successor in office, that is Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso, in the ship-jumping escapade. Barely a month after Kwakwanso defected to the PDP, Shekarau has left the party for him to pitch his tent with the APC. That came after the former education minister met Governor Abdullahi Ganduje in Abuja. That seems so, Babajide, when I saw Shekarau and Ibrahim Musa Kwakwanso in Shekarau's house in Abuja, and somebody captioned it that after 16 years they are, meeting. I don't know how accurate that is, but the bottom line is that Shekarau and Kwakwanso working together for the People's Democratic Party. And I remember making the call through, you put in the call through you and say, man, it's like gone for Governor Ganduje. But the dynamics of this kind of politics is very, very unpredictable. At what point in time? Because I saw Shekarau attending the NEC meeting of the People's Democratic Party, seated with Kwakwanso last month or so. What happened?
In politics, what you have is permanent interest. There's no permanent friend, but permanent interest. And the most certain thing in politics is uncertain nature. So I saw this coming. And the Secondus-led PDP have merely made this to come quicker than anticipated. You recall that I said that Shekarau will not be happy if the structures of the party get handed over to Kwakwanso, because it was the same thing that happened when they formed the APC. He was the one who actually registered the party, stayed sleepless nights just to make sure that they beat that deadline of INEC. But at the end of the day, because the policy then was, look, if a governor is coming into a party, because of the capacity that a governor has, the governor will come in with his own supporters, and those supporters will make a big difference. So for that reason, you want to immediately install that governor is coming in as the leader of the party. Then Kwakwanso, you will recall that when I was analyzing the agreement between the PDP leadership and these defectors, I said Kwakwanso will be treated as a sitting governor because he has capacity. He has a very strong support base, not just in Kano, but he has structures in different parts of the country. So they will treat him as a sitting governor. So for that reason, it was only a matter of time before the PDP took that decision. So what the PDP did was to say, okay, let's dissolve this duly elected ESCO of the PDP in Kano so that we can achieve our aim of giving control of the party to Kwankwaso. Because at the end of the day, they left only 2 positions for Shekarau. And I had warned that once they do that, Shekarau will move.
Jide, you know, before you go further, let me just take you back to our discussion 30th July, where you actually predicted what might probably happen between these people in Kano State.
It's difficult to say because I know that...
You know, we've been saying that it is dangerous for them to work together.
Yes, and I know that they are working hard to get Shekarau to come to their side. They are working hard. They are working hard. It's not impossible that will happen. You know, in politics, you never can rule anything in or rule anything out. Shekarau, as I've said before, used to be the vice president's, the vice president used to be Shekarau's lawyer. You know, so they have a long-standing relationship. I know that the arrest of Shekarau the other day in Kano must have really angered the man, because I am convinced, just like the legal advisor of the EFCC, that there's no case against Shekarau. You know, I showed that document. But why the EFCC, in spite of the advice from his zonal legal advisor that we don't have a case against this man, he never physically collected any money. You can't build a case of money laundering. It was Aminu Wali that collected money, and Aminu Wali went ahead, even in his statement to the police, he admitted that he was the one who collected the money. So why put Shekarau on trial? At the point when they should have moved to get Shekarau on their side, I'm not sure that they worked hard enough. But I can tell you that it is still open. It is still open. It all depends on how hard they work. Because I know that the PDP will want to give the structures to Kwankwaso, knowing that Kwankwaso has capacity.
That movement.
Yes, he has capacity beyond even Kano. No doubt about it.
Across the country.
So they will want to...
I haven't seen a vehicle in Lagos.
Everywhere. The day even he went to Daura, his crowd was like. So he's been building that group for some time. Now, if they do that, there's no way Shekarau will be happy, because it will be twice beaten, twice shy. Because it happened, he was the one who set up the APC in Kano. He was the one who registered the party in Kano.
But I was told that they are working out a kind of sharing formula.
The sharing formula will be a big problem for the PDP, because they are saying that those guys defecting, they will take 51. The people that they will take 49. These guys know that once you give someone a slight majority, he's going to eventually take over everything. That is the thing. So that is why they are scared. Look at Kwara. Saraki is having issues in Kwara. Because a lot of those guys don't want him back. They know that once he comes back, he will take full control.
August 31st, 2018, that's our in-house maestro here. Any good journalist, your ability to project into what will happen in the political future or anything like that makes you an outstanding journalist, just as Babajide said it. And barely 2 months after that time, Shekarau is back in the All Progressive Congress.
So the truth is, he has now made it easy for Ganduje. The politics of Kano is like a tripod. You have Buhari, you have Shekarau, and you have Kwankwaso. So what has happened now is that Shekarau and Buhari are going to team up. Shekarau, Buhari, Ganduje, and Take. Take is Shekarau's boy. He tried to make him succeed him. It was a very tough race, but in the end, he couldn't win the election. Now, with Take, Ganduje, Buhari, Shekarau on one side, it is impossible for Kwankwaso to win Kano. Because it is impossible. You've never had a situation in which all of those people work together. And you know, before now, the governor had been making moves to woo Shekarau to his side. That big hospital that was inaugurated when the president visited Kano is one of the best hospitals in the north. It was actually Shekarau that started the project, but Kwankwaso abandoned it for political reasons. Now we had a Ganduje as part of his moves to reach out to Shekarau. He went, completed the project, and paid tribute to
Give him the credit.
Yes, he gave him the credit. He paid tribute to him in the presence of the president and other people. And he's been bringing in some loyalists of Shekarau into his administration, just little by little. So now, the moment Kwankwaso pulled out of the APC, he created more opportunities for Ganduje to offer pecs to Shekarau to make it extremely difficult for Shekarau to turn down their offer. By leaving the APC, he has left the Kano Central Senatorial seat open. So the governor can reach out to Shekarau and say, see, I'm going to give you that slot. If you want to return to the Senate, that's waiting for you. Then Hafiz Abubakar, the deputy governor, former deputy governor of Kano, who is a staunch supporter of Kwankwaso, who announced a long time ago that he would not contest on the same ticket with Ganduje, to underline his loyalty to Kwankwaso. He resigned from the APC, from the administration. And immediately he resigned, he provided an opportunity for Governor Ganduje to say, look, come to our side. We will give you the deputy governorship slot. It's Take that couldn't become the deputy governor through the ballot box. We are going to give this seat to him. So many offers here and there provided by the opportunity of this man's exit. And I think that Ganduje is someone that Shekarau can trust, because before now, he had been reaching out, he had been giving some of his people appointments into the administration, because the three of them knew, and I've said it before, that none of them can singularly win Kano. None of Ganduje, Kwankwaso, and Shekarau. You need two to team up to win the state. So that has happened now with Shekarau joining. So
it's looking good for Ganduje and President Muhammadu Buhari.
It's extremely, extremely looking good. I can say that with finality.
Yiga, how will you describe the turn of events in Kano State? Because Kano State is very significant, because they returned 1.9 million votes for President Muhammadu Buhari, the highest. So you know Kano at any point in time is like the game changer.
Yes. What Jide has laid out is plausible. It is possible. But this afternoon, I spoke with a friend who is a Kano person, who is in Kano. And the same scenario was what I presented to him, that with this, what is going to happen? But the analysis which he gave is a little bit contradictory to what Jide gave. His own is that, look, right from time, they all know that Shekarau and Kwankwaso are implacable enemies. And we know the reason. There has been so much fracas between the two of them and all that. He still believes that it might have taken a little bit away from Kwankwaso, but he still believes that Kwankwaso still has the ace in Kano. But now, with the kind of idolization of the president, in Kano, it becomes a little bit difficult. You have the president, as he has mentioned, you have the governor, you have the Baki, and all that. So, I mean, there are so many forces against Kwankwaso now. You remember that when the day Kwankwaso declared that he wanted is gunning for the presidency, there were some pockets of demonstration in Kano where they said they burned the Kwankwasia cap and all that. There is the belief that it was an organized thing.
Yeah, of course.
That it couldn't have been so, that it was an organized thing, that most of the people who were there were not even Kwankwasia people. They were just gathered together. So
why was it?
exactly. So now,
Why is it that
it
it's the day that that one is declaring Abuja?
it becomes a
It's not a spontaneous.
it becomes a very tough thing to predict. For me, because I've left Kano for some years now, so I may not be able to get the roots of it all. I only depend on people who are there, who I've spoken with, and don't also rule out the fact that for whatever analysis anyone gives you there, it's lined with his or her own biases.
Yes.
So, as far as my friend is concerned, he feels that Kwankwaso still stands a better ground there in Kano. And for me, as a journalist, I want to stand on the fence. But one of my senior editors some time ago, we always tell you that if you stand on the fence and the fence breaks down, you can be crushed.
You can go either side. But Walade, this thing playing out, is Ibrahim Shekarau a big factor in Kano politics?
No, there's no doubt that he's a factor in Kano politics. There's no doubt whatsoever. And I want to agree with Jide that really, you can also not rule out the Buhari factor. It's very important. Buhari is contesting. He's not from Kano, but nonetheless, he has a strong loyalty, a cult followership also in Kano. And you also can't rule out the fact that Kwankwaso has some support, especially because he's going for the governorship, for the presidency.
Yes.
And if he manages to clinch the tickets of the PDP, that will further solidify, it will galvanize the support for him there too. So you can't rule that out. But with Shekarau, with Ganduje, and with the president, the incumbent president on one side, I don't see how Kwankwaso will
survive the onslaught.
I know, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Moving further now, when we want to look at this factor, ultimately I'm looking at if the People's Democratic Party choose somebody like Kwankwaso, how will this play out against Mr. President?
I think if you observe, and I said it before, that the PDP appears to always replicate the tactics of the APC. And I remember saying that because the APC chose his national chairman from the South-South, that they will go for the South-South person as national chairman. At a time when people thought, oh, Professor Adeni, it's the turn of the Southwest, they decided to go in that direction. So they are trying to match the APC in every conceivable way. Now, everyone can see that Kano there is so much to play for in Kano.
Oh, yes.
Southwest, the Northwest has the highest number of registered voters. Next is the Southwest, thanks largely to the registered voters from Lagos, which is above 6 million. So much to play for in Kano. Now, the way they are thinking, that if they get someone from that end, if they get a candidate from that end, it can take some of those votes away.
That's sure 12 million votes.
It's the strategy. The strategy is, yes, we have Sule Lamido, we have other people from that side. If we take someone, if we pick a candidate from the Northwest, the quantum indissoluble votes that the president always gets, that candidate may take some of those votes away. It's a fact in Nigerian politics that, look, if someone is from your state and they see that that person is riding on the crest of glory in maybe other states, chances are that his own people could be galvanized. So Bolade was right in saying that the choice of Kwankwaso as the standard bearer for the PDP can actually make a lot of things happen. No doubt about it. Because Shaw made that state that does not want to produce a president, for example.
That's the point.
You know? And there's a lot that they can use to campaign. Look, the Katsina people, they benefited a lot because of Buhari's presidency. They will say that. They will use that to campaign. Yes, and they will point at appointments, you know, to agencies and all that, that we all know that Katsina had benefited much more than any state in Nigeria. States. So it can be a factor that will be used to campaign. We are in a election period. The Nigerian politician snaps at every opportunity. So that can help galvanize, but it still doesn't take away the fact that the slim man from Daura, the lanky man from Daura, is the man still most likely to take Kano. But apart from Kano, there are other states of the Northwest, Zamfara, Jigawa, all of them, where once there is a candidate from that place, chances are that some of those votes will be taken away. I'm not saying that they could be divided equally. No. Chances are that some of those votes will be taken away. And once in Kano, once they see that something is at stake, if you look at beyond the 1.9 million that we talked about that went to the president, go and look at the figures that voters turned up on in the governorship election. Go and look at it. It was the margin of victory between the PDP and the APC was, I think, in the region of 400,000 or so.
Okay, let me quickly pick this call. Abdurrahman is calling us from Katsina. Thank you.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you for joining us, Abdurrahman.
Yeah. Babajide and the team, I actually commend your program. The first time I'm linking up.
Okay, thank you.
Congrats.
Yes. I don't know, your analysis in Kano. I'm a Kano man. I'm just working in Katsina, so I know everything in what my politics.
Yeah.
Your analysis is very much in order. That is difficult. Nevertheless, the stronghold of Kwankwaso in Kano, you can never do much. But what you are missing in that analysis is the fact that Kano people are somehow exposed politically. The chances of them to vote for Buhari at the same time, refuse to vote for Ganduje is there because it has happened. So that one is missing again in your analysis. So I want you to address that.
Okay.
Thank you, Abdurrahman.
So I think he even alluded to that when he was saying that if you look at the figures for the last election, you will see a difference between the presidential and the governorship.
Yes.
He alluded to it. So there's a possibility that the change in the equation could naturally even galvanize more votes in the governorship.
Yes. No. I think that's what happened the last time.
The last time, the APC still won.
Yes.
The APC, Ganduje had 1.5 million votes.
Yes.
And the PDP had 509,000 votes.
And
as against what you had in the presidency.
So more
the presidential election,
in the
exactly.
Election.
Yeah, because every politics is local.
The presidential election, I want
the presidential election, The APC had 1.9 million, and PDP had only 215,000. So you could see the
more
difference.
votes, more votes. That was what I was saying,
governor.
that the votes that turned up in the governorship election, you know, you look at it, you see the way Kano people vote. Because once they see that the stakes are high, they come out.
The higher the stake.
They come out. I worked in Kano for almost 7 years. I understand the way the policies of the state. So more people. It was the same thing that happened in the election, even the governorship election before that one. It was very close between the two parties. Both parties recorded more than 500,000 votes. Both parties. And you saw that just narrowly the PDP carried the day back then.
Now, when you look at the Southwest, PDP APC in 2015 election,
Yeah.
and you look at the figures and look at what might likely happen between those two parties now, what do you read between the lines?
Well, as far as I can see, I don't think there will be any much difference. The Southwest very largely will still go APC. That's my own reading, because now the PDP, at the time when they should have placated or played to the Southwest, they never did. You remember that throughout the period of Jonathan, the Southwest was always complaining that the Southwest was being marginalized and all that. All their complaints led to Adenira and the rest of them to come out to be chairman when it opened. But somehow, the big deciders, the big players in the party thought that
The weakest.
no, it is not yet the turn of the Southwest.
No,
to
the
play
argument
any big
was
game.
that the region of the country that didn't vote for the party
It should be
should
the
not
one.
produce the national
Well,
champion.
so
Abi?
if
That's the way they were thinking.
if that was their argument, this time around, are they
Okay.
going to have it?
Okay, let me pick this call. Ademola is calling us from the United Kingdom. I think he's calling from Excess. Thank you, Demola. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Demola. Hello, Demola. Yes, go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, thank you for having me. I'm very happy. I'm very happy that I'm able to get you today.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm talking.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, please.
Don't listen to yourself. Just
Demola,
keep
go
talking.
ahead.
Very quickly, I just want to make an observation. Yes, I'm talking. I just want to make an observation, please. The people organized. I am very happy with your program, but it gives me the impression that we have only politicking in the northern part of the country. You have concentrated so much on politics in the north. Don't we have politicking in the east? Don't we have politicking in the west? That is number one. Number two, please do something about our youth that are also getting engaged in politics. Talk about the Showore. Talk about the Mohammed, the youth that are coming out to contest with these people that you are talking about. Please, I want to hear more about that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your suggestion, Demola. I'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. Stay with us. Welcome back. Still Journalist Hangouts, and we are taking our last take on this. Bolade, your last take on this?
Well, Kano is very important. I mean, there's no way we can downplay the import of the quantum of votes that will come from Kano. But like I said earlier on, I believe that the teaming up of President Buhari with Ganduje and
Shekarau.
now, certainly is a winning team. It will be closer, but it's still a winning team.
Nika,
Well,
are you following your friend?
you see,
Like you
you know,
spoke
we have
earlier.
said it before. I'm even living that entirely now.
Okay.
What is in need for the common man? Why are they defecting to and fro? It is basically for their own selfish reasons.
Interest.
We know, I won't mention the name, we know someone who wrote a book denouncing the PDP and tearing it apart. Is back in that party again, seeking to be a governor of a state, in that same party again.
The party that he discredited.
The party that he discredited. So it is all for their own selfish reasons,
Yes,
as far as I'm concerned.
It's not about us.
It's not about us.
No doubt about that.
Did it?
Yeah, we wish them good luck. You know, as they always say in the north, I'm Farakina. The politicking has started.
Yes.
I'm Farakina. They've started. So all these schemes, we will see a lot of defections, a lot
Movements.
of moves that we didn't imagine will happen, especially as we move towards the primaries. And after the primaries, there will still be the defections here and there. Let's just prepare our minds for
Very interesting times.
very interesting times.
From now till February next year. All right. A popular demand does not necessarily go without dissenting voices. So it has been in the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, mooted the idea of adopting the direct primaries for choosing party candidates for the 2019 elections. While many Nigerians have hailed such decisions as noble and capable of bringing sanity to balloting here, others have kicked against it for primordial reasons. Supporters of the idea are, however, adamant on ensuring it is adopted. Members of the grassroots mobilization for President Buhari Oshibajo stormed the APC secretariat in Abuja on Monday, expressing support for the adoption of direct mode of primaries. They said it will help return power to the people. Then, who is afraid of returning power to the people? Some of these governors, gentlemen, what they are saying, because anytime you see reports on the pages of newspaper and papers are quoting anonymous sources, or the governor, the particular governor does not want to be named, you know that I'm always very circumspect when but according to the report I read yesterday, was that most of those registers, they are not updated registers. That APC, the last time they had this kind of exercise was in 2014. Now there's a continuous drive to register now. I think they've started across this thing. They're now saying there's a kind of, if you don't want your supporters, people are like ordering it in their favor. A lot of arguments skewed against these direct primaries things, that they don't have an up-to-date and updated register.
Well, those who want to shoot down a good idea, they will find reasons. It's just like in Adama, for example, where the governor, as usual, has gathered his cronies, and they're going to have a SEC meeting where a decision was reached that there should be indirect primaries. If anybody told me to predict what will happen in Adama, I would have predicted, even in my sleep, that Bindo will not allow direct primaries. But the appalling thing is to have the Secretary of Government of the Federation, a man that people respect,
Boss Mustafa,
condescending to agree to what the governor has tried to do a politics of exclusion in that state, beginning with even the congresses. You saw the problems that they had in Adama. Now, there's no way that kind of governor would want direct primaries. Every system has its failures. There's no foolproof model that you can point to. Even the delegate system that they want, because it will enable them to to manipulate the process. There are people sometimes that ought not to be delegates. There are students who are not card-carrying members of political parties who go on to vote as delegates at primaries. We saw it happened even in Anambra. Some of the people who voted in the PDP primaries were not PDP members. They went to tertiary institutions to bring out people. So we know why they are doing this. If you have credibility at the grassroots level, why should you be scared of direct primaries? We are saying that, look, it is possible for this to succeed in Nigeria if we commit ourselves to it. After all, the Americans have been doing it. Why are we not? Why are we reluctant to even give it a try? And we know the governors, is the same governors who wanted tenure elongation. When you go and check, it's the same governors who are insisting that this is what they want. Should, yeah. And we know their goal. Some of them, they just want to use it to chase away some senators from their states. And this governor, a lot of these governors who think of themselves as God with a small letter G, if they leave them to go and contest without invoking Buhari's name, they will not be able to win any election, even in the areas where they live. But today, they don't want, what they want is indirect primaries. We know now, when you are not popular, why won't you go for indirect primaries instead of direct primaries? So this is the thing. If the president is saying, look, the direct primaries allows for equity and justice and fair play, why are some governors reluctant to let it happen? Why? Because clearly now, even what the NWC, the agreement, I mean, the decision of the NWC, is being manipulated. Just gather a few people, you say they are stakeholders, your own people that you have manipulated and made them ESCO members in your state, you gather them, people who will never disagree with you, you gather them, and then at the end of the day, they will say this is the decision. When a governor from the Northeast, look at a state like Adamawa, for example. If we are to use Adamawa as an example, Boko Haram used to control 7 local governments in Adamawa. But today, apart from occasional attacks in the Madagali area, the whole of Adamawa is firmly in the hands of Nigerian troops. Everywhere is safe. I've been to Adamawa a number of times. Today, if you are citing insecurity, that for that reason you cannot allow direct primaries. That means you are saying that President Buhari has achieved little or nothing in protecting the people in that area, in restoring sanity, restoring normalcy to the lives of people there. So the president then cannot boast that he has improved the security situation because you are pointing to it just because you don't want habit. If you are saying no, it's insecurity in Adama, let's not do, then you are saying that there's no security. So the party or the spokesman of the president or the president himself should no longer boast that he has restored security.
Inga, don't you see this being, will this make Omar APC, as in it might cause a major crisis as people?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Because there are pockets of people who are not happy with the decision that you want to change. You remember that the first day when it was announced that it is indirect primaries, it is only the presidency that they will have direct primaries and the others. Everybody said, we know that before. So for now.
Okay, I have a call from Lagos State. Benjulai from Lagos State.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Well done.
Yes.
I salute all of you.
Yes,
Mr.
go ahead with your contribution.
And,
go ahead with your contribution.
My concern is that the direct primary is very, very important, and I think it will work for primary, even both PDP or all the parties, so they should adopt it. It's very, very good. Then the second issue that I have now, why our government are so, selfless and they are always fighting for themselves. We have done, they always, all of them have been shouting and shouting and shouting for voter cards. Go out there and get the voter card. Go out there and get the voter card. That's their new song now. Whereas our national ID card has been there for November 2014. I've done it. I haven't got a permanent one now. Nobody talk anything about it again. Even national ID card, the same thing. What's going on? Help me or help us to talk to our government. They're talking about it. It's very, very important to us. Please.
Okay, Mr. July.
Thanks so much.
All right. I think we just find a day to just sort out that particular topic.
Okay. Now, for direct primary, you know what happened there is that there's no way a candidate can be able to buy all the delegates. But in indirect primary, you have chosen some people to be the one to represent you. So it is easy. People camp them in hotels, they give them money from both sides. And for me, for whatever you might think, the Osun example, the Osun has set a very good example. They used direct primary, and it worked. There are no cases of people having no violence, no nothing, no.
Very cost effective.
Of course, exactly. In fact, that is the most. When we are talking of democracy, is expensive. It's expensive. It is expensive because we use the wrong alternative. This one that has been used, how many delegates will a candidate buy? But in other one, it has even gone beyond the issue of 100,000, 200,000. It is in millions now. They buy delegates in millions. And they buy, it goes to the highest bidder. They will collect from A, collect from B, collect from C. So at the end of the primaries, the John down the street there, who used to find it difficult to eat, we move from down the street, on my street in Agege, and move to Aja and become a big boy. So now if you have a direct one, where everybody is concerned, even if they are going to give delegate money, it is going to be minimal. Yes. Because if there are 15,000 delegates, how much do you want to give each of the delegates?
But if we are doing governorship or even senatorial primary election, you will be moving the delegates from one local government to the other, and you will camp them. You know,
exactly.
You camp them. So it's extremely expensive even to the aspirants.
Mobolade, we have a situation whereby the governor of the states, most of the states that we see, want to determine the 3 senators representing the senatorial district, the House of Representative members, and even as members of the State House of Assembly. And they want to choose all. So some of them are afraid that this direct primary system might take the power in their hand. Because as we used to say, Governor Abdulaziz Yari might not want somebody like Marafa to become the governor of that state. And Marafa is saying that if Shehu Sani,
the governor of Kaduna,
Kaduna State, might not want Shehu Sani to return,
no matter how popular,
as the senator representing the Kaduna Central.
I agree with what has been said so far, but I'm particularly bothered about how we think, the mindset of Nigerians generally. It's as if we have not made up our minds that we really want democracy. We want disguised autocracy. And that's what we've always been having. Now, even with the direct primary, it will probably be much better than the indirect. But then I'm still afraid that you probably will begin to have contractors in wards, in local governments, who will be able to turn things around for certain people, you know, because the Nigerian people, generally speaking, unfortunately, we saw it in the Ekiti, that even voters, that's general election, governorship election, the voters right at the polling units needed to be settled for themselves.
So the PVC is their meal ticket.
It's their meal ticket. So if we are now talking of members of a political party, they also think that, okay, these our leaders have collected money. You have to get something across to us. I'm afraid that the party system in Nigeria has failed over the years. nobody is thinking about the way it goes. You find a way of manipulating things, and that is where it ends. So we need to think of how to fundamentally change the party system. Otherwise, we will not be able to get anywhere.
I think
it is a problem.
Our viewers from London today, they are just making it into this number. Ade is calling us from London.
Hello, good afternoon. I greet all of you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, quite appreciate what you are doing there. I want to ask Babajide. I'm expecting Babajide to tell us that they are putting pressure on him, or too much pressure on him, or is it for the Senate or for the governorship? It's not telling us anything.
That's the usual language of our. That's the usual language of our politician. Saraki, I'm under pressure to run
because I'm not interested.
Which of the states is he going to contest in now?
Because I'm not interested in any elective post. I've said it a number of times that I will not work for a politician, and I will not contest an election. I'm happy being a journalist. You see, I've seen people who are earning good salaries in the banks, and they left that job to return to the newsroom.
Yeah.
Because that is the job
Passion.
that gives them joy. I've seen people abuse me. You know, Facebook has irritants. You know, Facebook is busting at the seams with ill-bred irritants, people who abuse you, call you names. Some of them have said, he wants to take APC appointment. That is why he's supporting Buhari. That is why is this. I will not take any appointment. I'm saying it again for Nigerians to hear. I'm not interested. It's not as if there have not been offers in the past. You are aware. But I'm not interested. So people should not. The other day, someone was saying here that he wants me to be VP of Nigeria. I said, what is, when Oshibajo is doing such a fantastic job, I'm not interested in political appointments. What I'm doing here, the joy it gives me, I'm sure that if I go to Aso Rock, now they give me a job there, I'm not sure I will get the kind of joy that this gives me.
You'll be caged.
I will be caged. I won't even be able to express myself. I've seen my colleagues, some of my colleagues, even proud people with integrity, when you visit them, they are working for a governor. You see them groveling at the feet of the governor.
In fact,
you can't talk into the ears of a governor. Is that a life that someone wants me to go and take up? That you will be cringing? Oh, LAB, this. No, forget it. Forget it. That day it won't happen. I give you that guarantee it won't happen.
So, the final analysis, APC, they are in two camps. Governors for or against.
Yeah.
The Nation did a story today that, governors against direct primaries. And they mentioned their geopolitical zones and everything. So the earlier they close rank, the better, to agree on the modality.
Their collective interest. Otherwise,
it will blow, and then
they have to be careful because some of those senators too are waiting for these primaries to happen and see what. I understand Oshomole is trying to reward their loyalty. People stuck with the party at a very critical time when the party needed their support over this, what's happening in the Senate, defections and all that. Now, people can't stick with their party, and then at the end of the day, you want to treat them like a sweet wrap on the floor.
No.
So Oshomole wants these guys to be rewarded. But I suspect that also is most likely the main reason they want these direct primaries to happen, because it gives power. It is the most participatory of all the models that we've seen.
Yeah.
It puts power in the hands of the voter. Once you are a card-carrying member,
if you're
you are an elector.
Candidate.
You are an elector.
Yeah.
If you have street credibility, in quotes, you street popularity, no governor can stop you from winning. You will win the thing. So the governors now are sensing that, these guys want to take our power away. No, we won't allow that to happen. That's basically, this whole thing is just selfishness. The president said it, that how can someone call himself a Democrat and he does not want direct primaries? It's amazing to President Buhari that some people who call themselves Democrats will say they don't want direct primaries. You don't want interface with the ordinary man on the street. Because that's what
Test your strength before the main election.
Test your strength. That way you can even gauge what may happen to you on election day. And look, you see, that is succeeded in Osun. I believe that the people of Osun State, they are not even as politically aware as our friends in the north. So if you can succeed like that in Osun, it means that with little enlightenment in places like Kano and other places, it will work perfectly, and the turnout will be bigger. So they should just give this thing a chance. But just as you said, they want to be in position to determine the fortune of people that they have disagreement with. And they also want to be able to impose their own favored voice on the rest of us. That's why this is happening.
The governor was quoted as saying that somebody is finished politically in the states.
And it's not God. That's the way they talk. That's the way they talk. And what that one will breed is that many people, you will see, maybe you saw parallel primaries the other day.
Yes.
APC. There will be parallel primaries in this September when we have. You will see it will happen again in this party.
Wale, finally, Yinka.
Well, whatever decision they take, the electorate should be uppermost in their mind. And the electorate, too, should make sure they don't sell their votes, they don't sell their PVC.
Well, 2019 is here. We have seen what had happened in the past, and we still know where it led Nigeria. We should be thinking of moving out of the cul-de-sac so that we can move forward and project Nigeria forward.
Today, I think sometimes next week maybe later in the week we'll talk about our young, not too young to rule, that the man raised there. We'll talk about them.
We've analyzed them on our own, on the sidelines. If they can't come together, then it's shameful.
How many of them are even very young?
Well,
they are not so young.
All right, I want to thank you, Obalade Omonijo. Thank you for always being there for us. Olainka, thank you. I'm Babajide Otitoju. Thank you. And that's it on Journalist Hangouts. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also live on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria.